Shalom Israel, giving no praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashim El-Shah, Ba'ashim Kakadash. The law to the elders, GMS Rule, salutation to you, Akim out there pushing his word, truth, and sincerity, risking your freedom and your life to do so. Okay, as you can see, man, we have a video about, this is from the New York Post. North Korea reportedly threatens new round of the Korea War to end the U.S. Alright, so as you can see, man, it's thermonuclear missiles, and it says, North Korea's embassy in Moscow has threatened to use its nation's nuclear weapons against the United States in what they claim would be a particularly sensational event. A Russian state-owned news agency reports. The reporting comes from the TASS news agency, a state-owned wire service known largely as a propaganda outlet for Kremlin, which claims the embassy sent them the threat in the form of a statement over the weekend. Now, it's not a threat because, according to the scriptures, this is an actual event that's going to take place. According to the Bible, man, that Most High is going to stir up these nations to make war with each other in World War III. And we can get that in a few. It says the agency quotes the embassies as stating, this year, the U.S. military has been carrying out various kinds of military maneuvers in South Korea and its vicinity with the purpose of striking North Korea quickly. Right, because what Edom tries to do in the form of his proxy armies, which is like his smaller armies, or armies control, his armies he controls in other countries, is trying to surround his enemies. So when he go to invade, it's almost like an ambush. But North Korea's peeps game, you know, and that's why recently they just broke ties with America. Okay, this is prophecy, man. That and it's showing all these nations that America, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, can't be trusted, especially these devils that's in power. So it said, reading on, it said a new round of Korean War will add a particular sensational event to the history of mankind, which will put an end to another empire whose name is the United States. And that's heavy, man. That's heavy. That's heavy because the scriptures say that. So I'm gonna read that again. A new round of the Korean War will add a particular sensational event to the history of mankind. Right? What's the particular life-changing event? World War III, man. A war that has never been before. Okay, and that's a sensational event and an amazement, an event that never happened before. It said, which will put an end to another empire, right? Because that's heavy, man. Because like we say, man, we say all the time, America is an empire. America is a kingdom that rules and with great wrath has smitten and beat all nations, to pretty much into devastation. So let's get this real quick. This is Joel. I'm going to jump from Joel 3, verse 9. Proclaim ye this amongst the Gentiles, prepare war. And as you can see, man, North Korea is obviously preparing war with the United States, man. You're getting tired of the bullshit that's going on. You're getting tired of the BS. So what is it doing? Preparing war for America, a.k.a. Babylon the Great, even which they say itself is an empire. And it says, wake up the mighty men. No, it said, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, and let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. And what is that spiritually speaking about, man? Getting your military might in order. Getting those missiles ready, man. Perfecting them, shooting them off, making sure they hit their target. They're going to detonate on ground zero with no mistake. That's what that scripture is talking about. That's the preparation. You see? And it says, beat your plowshares into swords. Now, plowshare is an instrument of agriculture. So what they're doing now is putting less money in the food or stimulate the economy and putting it towards instruments of war, whether it be weaponry or technology, further scientists or experiments with the nuclear missiles, increasing the budget of the nuclear missiles. And it says, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am stronger. And at one point in time, North Korea was a very weak nation. It was very weak, and prior to it obtaining a nuclear warhead, a nuclear missile. Now, because the rabbit has a gun, there's no fun anymore. And what America's doing is trying to destabilize, is what they call it, meaning pretty much conquer the land of North Korea so it can take over the resources like it's always done in history. You see? And that's what they're trying to do with North Korea. But all nations are hip and getting and understanding what's going on, and that's why this is happening. So let's go back to that. We're gonna read a little more. It said, reading on, it says, while the statement has not been reported elsewhere, it was released in days ahead of the 70th anniversary of the start of the Korean War. The war began on June 25th, 1950, when the Chinese and Soviet-backed forces from the north invaded the south. Within weeks, the U.S. engaged in the conflict on behalf of the South, arguing that it was a fight against communism on the international stage. The Hermit Kingdom has been vocal in the recent days about its efforts to go after its enemies to the south, using its own state-run news agency to announce it is amassing a pile of anti-South propaganda leaflets as big as a mountain. Once it has completed the mountain of propaganda leaflets denouncing South Korea's and defectors from the north, it plans to launch them across the border and scatter them over the country. You see? Right. Okay. And it says, Salaki. It is a tit-for-tat move by the North, where government officials had grown tired of the anti-North leaflet, I guess it's propaganda, being launched from the South into the country inside bottles and balloons by defectors. The practice of launching leaflets over the border have been utilized by North Korean defectors for years. South Korea's military, however, stopped sending leaflets over the border in 2010. Those groups of defectors, as we don't skip that. Shalakia, this is kind of like off the top. The office had been operated by the South for the past 2 years. Kim Yo-jong described South Korea as the enemy when announcing the explosion, warning that the country would soon see the collapse of the useless office. By exercising my power authorized by the supreme leader, our party, and the state, I gave instructions to the armed department in charge of the affairs with enemies and decisively carry out the next action, she said in a statement carried by the North officials' Korean Central News Agency. All right, so as you can see, man, these nations, according to Joel 3, are preparing for war, and it's that simple. And it says, reading on, Joel 3 and 10, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Assemble yourselves, come. All ye heathen are all you nations outside of the 12 tribes of Israel. 12 tribes of Israel are you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. So the heathens are obviously people outside of that. You see? And it says, gather all you heathens, gather yourself round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. And the mighty ones are the angels. Why are they coming down, man, to reap what you sow? Okay, so it's coming to do damage, man, to hurt on Esau Edom, the so-called white man. All right? These people as a total, because y'all have been wicked. Y'all been doing a lot of wrong. And it's time for y'all punishment. So it says, put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full, and the fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near. In the valley of the decision, which is in the Middle East, man. Starting in the land around Israel, okay? And it's going to take from North Korea, and it's going to be global, okay? World War III. All right, so with that, I want to give a praise to Yahweh, by Shem Kakadash, honors to the elders, Till next video. Till next video. Shalom.